Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome back to our Eagles Therapy podcast. My name is Basil.
And I'm Baz.
And we are recording on Tuesday, September 12th, 2023. A little bit of a quick turnaround for us this week because we played Sunday, and now we got the Thursday game against the Vikings. What do you have to say about that one, Dad?
Well, I think the Thursday game, especially that first week of the season, is not a good idea. I think they really should think about that, maybe changing it until, the first week of the season, maybe not have a Thursday night game. Obviously, I love the Thursday night games. We all do. I'm sure the ratings are great. It's got its own TV package, but I just don't think it's a good idea. There's, the injuries that have happened, and every year, every team's going to have injuries. So this year, we've kind of been bit early, so that's kind of a bummer. But hopefully, we'll get through this game. But I just think it's a better idea to maybe just the first week of the season, just give it a go. You can have the opener, the week before the opening season, but that first week of the season, maybe just pass it off so that we can have, a little bit of time for these guys who have not played in the preseason.
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with you. I think the first week of the regular season, like the Thursday to start the season, that's cool. I'm okay with that one. But for after that first Sunday, there really shouldn't be a Thursday game. It's just because guys are getting back into the mix of things. They're getting used to getting hit again, and just like that, everyone. I saw a report earlier that's every team is getting hit, with injuries. It's like, well, yeah, then why is my team meant to play on Thursday?
And they talk about player safety, and that's what, the kickoffs and all that thing. Well, this would be one way to address it. Obviously, I know it's a big ratings bug and everything like that, but players first, if that's your thoughts, then maybe just that first week, take a break.
Yeah, and it is hard because throughout the season you love Thursday night games, but that first week is just brutal sometimes. But we're going to be having a nice little episode today. Hopefully not go too long. We don't want to take up too many people's time anymore because I know we're releasing episodes back-to-back days. We're going to be going over the Philadelphia Eagles and Minnesota Vikings matchup for this Thursday. We're going to be talking about some injuries, the game last night, the Jets-Bills game. We'll talk about some Phillies later on, and then and that'll be everything for you. But before we go into that, of course, as always, we're going to give our little plug to our Philadelphia Eagles fan club of Colorado Springs. Had a great time on Sunday, as you've heard. We love meeting at Frankie's every single game day. Frankie's on Powers and Galley. Such a great time, such a great group. Love them all very much, and can't wait for Thursday night. I mean, tomorrow to the viewers, but it's Tuesday now, so can't wait for Thursday night. But we'll go ahead and jump into the Eagles and Vikings matchup. We're going to be playing at 6:15. 6:15, yes. 6:20? 6:15. 6:15 Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime.
That would be in our time zone.
6:15 our time, Colorado.
8:15.
Yeah, Eastern time back in Philly. We've got a little weather watch for my dad. What do we got going on that way?
Luckily, no rain. It looks really good for no rain. Some light winds, 67 degrees at kickoff, right in that area. Hopefully a beautiful almost fall night, good night to throw the football around, and hopefully we can get that ball out in the air and do some damage this week, and not be biting our fingernails there in the second half.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I would love to have a nice non-rainy day because that was painful on Sunday. That rain really did affect us and probably the Patriots too, but it really affected the game, and I just hate when weather affects the game. I do understand the whole it's the elements, but I hate when it affects the game because especially when it's my team. But yeah, we'll move on to the all-time series record with the Vikings. It's tied at 15-15, including the playoffs. Eagles are actually 4-0 against the Vikings in the playoffs. Obviously, the most famous one being that 38-7 romp, the Philly. I don't know what you would call it, the Philly Massacre.
Yeah, we didn't give it a name, did they?
I don't think they did. Yeah, back in 2018, the NFC Championship game that year. We also played them in 2004 in the divisional round, I believe, to go to the NFC Championship. Yeah, that big time. Freddie Mitchell, fumble recovery touchdown. But in the last 25 years, the Eagles lead the series record at 8-4. So we've been kind of getting the best of them for a while. I know back in 2018, they beat us pretty good. They beat us down when we were in – I think are we back in Philly? I can't remember exactly, but they beat us down pretty good back in 2018. But since then, we've gotten a few more on top of them. So looking to do that again, build to that lead this upcoming week. Next thing, we'll go ahead and talk about our matchups of the game. I'm going to pass this one to you, Dad. You go ahead and start with this one.
Well, you were talking my matchup is going to be our defensive backs against their passing game. We've been dinged in the linebacker situation. So hopefully we can bring in some more DBs and hopefully keep them from moving the ball through the air. We had the middle of the field was a little bit rough last week. So hopefully with the fill-in linebackers we've got, because Dean's going to be out now for 4 weeks, which is very, very unfortunate. He's wearing a green dot. We had all the confidence in the world in him, and now he's going to be out for 4, which is really a lot of time for him to miss, especially in this developmental stage of his career. But for the most part, it's not the end of the world. Hopefully he is going to be okay, and we can maybe that's the end of the injury bug for us.
Hopefully.
But that's the NFL today, and that's just the way it is. So we've had injuries here and there. Some of the other teams have fared a little bit worse than we have, but being so early in the year, you're always worried that something's going to happen. So
absolutely, yeah, it's hard, and I do agree with you on the wide receivers and defensive backs. I have my own matchup, but to kind of touch on that, obviously, the big matchups can be Justin Jefferson and Darius Slay. I know last year, people remember Slay clamped JJ. It was phenomenal. But first week, Justin Jefferson had 9 receptions for 150 yards. So he's back to being always amazing like he always is. And then their new rookie first-round pick, Jordan Addison, he had 4 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown. Now that's going to be a key matchup because most likely Bradbury won't play. I know there might be updates and maybe things change, but as of right now, it's very much looking like he's not going to play. And he'll be going against Josh Jobe, who is a second-year undrafted free agent, I believe, right?
Yeah. So Bradbury's not going to play because of
the concussion.
Yeah. And he's in the protocol.
He's in the concussion protocol. And that's going to be a huge matchup. Hopefully Jobe can hold his own. I know a lot of analysts back in Philly were saying Jobe was clearly ahead of everyone for that third outside cornerback spot, but still, it's still just it's going to be a big matchup. My matchup of the game is the Eagles' defensive line against the Vikings' offensive line. Last week, the Eagles did only have 2 sacks, or last week, I mean Sunday, only had 2 sacks. They came towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter, and so I know that you love when that happens because it did have a huge part in affecting the game, a huge part in closing out the game. So, but you'd like to see a little bit more, especially from a team that had 70 sacks last year. Now, the Vikings, the offensive line in the first week, they did let up 2 sacks. I watched the highlights, and I know highlights don't really show everything, but the Vikes interior, the guard, the center, they looked like they were getting worked. They looked like they were getting pushed around pretty good. So I like Jordan Davis, and I like Jalen Carter's chances against them. And if Cox plays, which he looks like he's going to, I like the chances against the Vikings interior offensive line. I also noticed that the right tackle on the Vikings, I believe his name was Brian O'Neill, he also had quite a few hardships facing that left defensive end out there, which is nice because our left defensive end is Hassan Reddick. So we'd love to see Hassan get out there and kind of get back to his shape of last year. Same thing as last year. He started off slow. I think last year he didn't have a sack till week 3. He ended up with 16. So that's awesome. So same thing as this year. He doesn't have one right now. Hopefully he can kind of get it going against the Vikings because that's going to be the biggest thing. And if you give Kirk time, he can roast you, especially with those wide receivers, those weapons. They also have T.J. Hawkinson. I mean, they got a team there, and it's a scary team, a scary offense for sure.
Yeah, he's a very accurate quarterback. One of the things I also saw was the center on the Vikings line. He might not be playing as well.
Okay.
So I just, it's so hard on the short week, to get information. You're listening to things, you're pulling things up. But yeah, I had read that a little bit earlier. So, but again, last week, we kept hearing about the Patriots missing 2 guards, and it didn't really look like those 2 gentlemen that were playing guard were having too much of an issue with us. We were moving in. We were very, very close, and a lot of times that's just the way it works in the NFL. One week you're half a step from getting your sack, and then next week you get 10. So let's hope that's true. That's the case this week where we pick it up, and obviously if we can keep Cousins and get into his head, obviously when he plays for these prime games. He's not got a very good record, no jinx there, but he's had his issues. So hopefully we can continue that trend and get some sacks and some stats for our fellas there in front.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. I pulled up the Vikings injury report as well. It does show that Garrett Bradbury, their center, he didn't play today, or he didn't participate today. And then also with limited participation was their left tackle, who's kind of a star, Christian Darrisaw. He was a big name coming out of college not too long ago, I believe 2 years ago. So he's going to be a big part as well. I mean, he's young. I think he's only been in the league 2 years. This might be his third year. But that's another guy, Josh Sweat. Maybe he can get it going on that side of the line. And Graham as well, and Barnett. Hope maybe Nolan Smith. Yeah. I'd love to see that too. But we're going to go ahead and move on to our Eagle that we're most looking forward to. Every week we obviously choose a Eagle that we want to see in the game or that we're excited to see in the game. Starting off with you, who do you have?
So my eye on the Eagle this week is going to be the linebacker Christian Ellis. He played great in the preseason. We enjoyed watching him. He's a young kid. Hopefully he can – we're not expecting him to take over the game, but boy, it'd be great to see him make some big plays. And then you go, okay, we know we got a player there. And, with the fact that Dean being out and our linebackers are a little bit short, we'd really love to see him make a few plays. I know they're going to probably shift some things around, maybe bring some extra DBs in to help with the coverages. But I'm hoping to watch him this week. And, I know we brought Morrow up, one of the guys that from the practice squad's on the 53 right now too. So we have 3 linebackers at least.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's a good thing. But he didn't make the 53, so that kind of makes you, hopefully he's got a little burn in his belly and he plays like crazy as well if he gets in there. But I'm looking for Christian Ellis. There's those things you look at early in the game. Hopefully he gets a few tackles, kind of like last week. Dean had like 2-3 tackles in the first. Couple drives, he was stuffing the line with Jordan Davis and Carter. It was amazing. It was great. So, so hopefully that's the guy I'm going to be on. Hopefully he's a diamond in the rough for us, and hope he's ready to cover a little bit of covering with those tight ends. And the pressure from the defensive line. Let's get to Cousins, and hopefully we can get a nice pick early, maybe a tip passer here and there, and get a few sacks early, and let's take this game away.
Absolutely, yeah. My Eagle I'm most looking forward to is going to be running back DeAndre Swift. Last week was a major disappointment. I know it's hard because you really shouldn't get your hopes up, but how can you not? When you get this guy, you make a big trade in the offseason during the draft, trade away some draft picks to get him. It just feels like it was a little bit of a letdown last week. So I'm really looking forward to DeAndre Swift. Hopefully he gets some more touches. I know Gainwell is looking like he's on the injury report, so it's possible he's not going to be playing. Hopefully he is, but I also just hope that they'll give some more carries over to DeAndre Swift, man. He's such a weapon. He's such a weapon in the pass game, the run game. He's like Rashad Penny, not as much with the explosion, but he is explosive. He can, out of nowhere, he can bust off a 50-yarder.
We found that out last year in the open.
Absolutely, last year.
Yes.
156 yards, something like that against us last year in the opening game. Yeah. So, what happened to this opening game? I mean, a little bit of – not a little bit. Big letdown week one. I know he had that drop over the middle. He wouldn't have gotten the first down, but he would have made it 4th and 7 instead of 4th and 17.
I think, that they anticipated, or at least coach anticipated, we're going to have plenty of chances to drive the ball this week. And, they used Gainwell on that first drive very well. He had so many touches, like you were saying yesterday on the last podcast. But, he had a lot of carries in the first quarter, a lot of touches, and a couple catches. And, I think they just thought, well, we'll get everybody in the game. Well, it didn't turn out that way. And things kind of soured. And, like I said, that weather – it was pretty bad through the first 3 quarters, I think. It was hard to see exactly how bad it was raining late in the game. But by then, it was kind of a clinch factor. We were driving, but we were kicking field goals, and it just didn't look good. So hopefully we can, right the ship, get a little more excitement here on the offense. The defense, again, as we said, played really well last week, except for a couple quick TDs, which can't give up. But, again, we're still working it out, so hopefully they can use those fellows, like you were saying, and move the ball.
It's hard because a lot of people will think, the defense played bad, but when your offense has 5, 6, 7 3-and-outs, I mean, to only give up 20 points is amazing. Like, the defense looked incredible out there. The fact that the offense or the Patriots had that many chances, all those 3-and-outs, although the punts, like everything, and the fourth down, the fumble, the recovery, turnover, the defense played phenomenal as far as what the offense did. The offense did not help them out, and Aaron Siposs helped them out a little bit, but that defense played great last week because I know they couldn't get to the quarterback, but man, only limiting the damage to 20 points, they played a great job.
Anytime you give an offense that many chances, even a bad offense, you give them that many chances, they're going to figure it out. I believe they had 80 plays on offense. I believe that's what I heard.
I'd have to look at that.
Yeah, again, the statistics and things. The other stat I tripped across last few days was when the opposition on the Patriots scored 25 or more, their record is way down.
Really?
So I mean, I guess that would have been cool knowing when we got our 25th point and said, okay, this one's in the bag. But I saw their requord was pretty awful if they gave the opponents 25 points.
Wow. Okay.
Interesting. Landed right on 25, but can't quote the source. But like I say, I'm always pulling in stuff, and that was one of the things I saw.
Gotcha. Of course. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go ahead. We're going to go ahead and jump over to the next segment of In Other News. We're just going to talk about, first of all, the last night game, the Jets and Bills game, which was a phenomenal game. I said yesterday on the podcast I was cheering for the Bills. Halfway through the game, I found myself really cheering for the Jets. I did have the Jets defense in fantasy, so that's kind of why I was getting a little excited. But I found myself really cheering for the Jets. I thought that was so cool for the city to get that win, especially after they, of course, had lost Aaron Rodgers in that super unfortunate way. I know we made it clear yesterday we're not big Rodgers fans, but never ever root for an injury, and that really, really, really is unfortunate.
And the fans there, you got to feel for the Jets fans, And I did say that yesterday too, where I cheer for the underdogs until they get to the top, and then I drop. But for all the fans that were there yesterday, and just so excited, and I feel for them. It was awful, kind of like the year that Randall went out in the first game against Green Bay back in, I think it was '92. He got hit on the knee in the third play of the game, and he was done for the year. Yeah. And we as a collective fan base watching the bars were just. Our shoulders sagged, and we went, I think Jim McMahon's the one that took over for him. But we were still expecting a lot that year. We had been building and building for years. And, once you lose that star quarterback, it's just, it was a knee to the gut, big time.
Absolutely. Yeah, hopefully he, hopefully he gets back from it. I don't know if this is the end of the line for him, but, best of luck to him to whatever choices he makes, whatever decisions. Hopefully he gets healthy at least, even if he's not going to play again. Hopefully he gets better quick. I know it's got to be really painful.
Yeah, I saw Rich Eisen on the NFL Network. He compared it to a bad horror movie. He's a Jets fan as well, so so he kind of did a little segment today on it, and it was again, we all cheer against players and we cheer against teams and things like that, but when you see something like that happen, let's think about it. In 5 weeks, we play the Jets. 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And, I was hoping to have Rodgers out there, and I was hoping that we'd maybe push him into an early retirement like last year's game. It didn't quite do it, but we made him look bad, and we were winning big until they brought in Jordan Love, and
that's the thing.
He kind of tore it up a little bit on us.
Yeah, I tore it up on Sunday too, but that's the thing. If he threw 5 picks, I would have been really excited. Yeah, it looks like it's in 4 weeks. Yeah. If he'd thrown 5 picks, then I would have been cheering. But to see an injury, that's
the NFL nowadays. We lost Zach, early. He was a big part of our team, and now we have to make do. But he ain't a quarterback.
Yeah, that's
a whole other thing,
whole different world. And that's why you have a backup quarterback who can jump in. I know Zach Wilson's career hasn't been amazing, but he is a second overall pick. So at some point,
might be it. This might be the push he needs.
Absolutely. Maybe the city's behind him, and the defense is definitely behind him because they rocked it for me. Shout out to my buddy Lane, who I defeated and destroyed in fantasy this week, even though he scored a ton. But go ahead and jump on to the Eagles injuries that we have for the upcoming game on Thursday. Obvious one at the top. Nakobe Dean, 4 weeks, he's going to be out. They did what I thought they would do. They dropped him to the IR. Makes sense because if he was going to miss 3 weeks, might as well have him miss 4 weeks because then you can have a person brought up onto the roster, and that's what they did with Morrow. I'm not saying he's going to be a star. I'm not saying he can be probably even a starter, but I think he's a good fan. I think he's a good special teamer. I think he can be a good role player in the defense. He can come in and give you a couple good plays in the preseason. I thought he was playing really well. Some of the preseason games, I know it wasn't well enough to get him a spot, but I thought towards the end of the games he was everywhere. He flies all over the place. He's got some speed behind him. He does.
It's funny how that works where, you might hear from somebody way over there that says, oh, that guy's having a bad year. And you go, well, looked good, like he was playing good to me, or maybe the plays weren't coming his direction, or maybe they're not throwing it to his side because he's so darn good. But he's definitely got experience, and that's one of the things we do need. I mean, we picked him up because he has experience. Zach Cunningham had a great fumble recovery.
Good job.
So, I mean, he was awareness. That's the linebacker's job, get those tipped interceptions and pick up them fumbles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he did what we needed him to do. And, from what I heard some of those guys over there say, he had a really good game. I thought he played well.
Absolutely.
It's so hard, though, when you're so excited watching the game. I'm like, I'm not sitting there with a roster going, oh, wait, but, I got my roster guy here. I'm always asking him.
I am the roster.
He sits across the table from me. But, when a guy's making plays, you're like, okay, I know who that is. I know what number that guy is now. So, they definitely, hopefully he can contribute to somehow because obviously Dean can't for the next 2 weeks, now for 4 weeks. So,
the thing about Morrow that I think is really good, he's got some good size on him. He's 6 feet, he's 225 pounds, and he can run, man. He runs a 4.52. Now I know that's 20. It was 2017, but as a linebacker at 225, 4.52, he's going to be covering those tight ends, and if he gets in, I think he's going to give us some good reps. But moving on to the one that probably hurts more than anything, James Bradbury. James Bradbury's got that concussion, most likely going to be out again. We're recording on Tuesdays, so I know this could change, and hopefully it does, but I don't see it because concussions, after last year, you just can't mess around anymore. You gotta keep yourself safe. Gotta keep yourself just off the field if that's going to happen.
And that's one of the things about a concussion on a Sunday game, and then if the guy plays on Thursday, what does that say to you? Is he over the concussion? So for me, we were talking earlier, I think maybe that's something that they might have to address. You get a concussion on Sunday, there's no way you can play on Thursday. There's no way.
I know.
Monday, yes, and then you're playing Sunday, okay, that's 7 days, 6 days. But if you get a concussion, and I know there's severe, light, but if you're talking player safety, again, just like we were saying earlier, if you're talking and trying to protect the players, there should be a mandatory can't play if you get a concussion on Sunday for a Thursday game.
I do agree with that.
I mean, I'm still recovering from Sunday, and I didn't play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My throat's still
my throat, I'm a little bit tired. And, I was screaming my brains off in that first quarter. So
pick six I was going nuts. But I do agree with you. Yeah, if you get a concussion on Sunday, I can understand playing Sunday, the next game, but from Sunday to Thursday, I just don't think there's any way. And if you do play, then okay. I don't know if you're really concussed or you gotta have to they're gonna have to look into your training staff. Next guy on the injury report is going to be another big one, Cox. Fletcher Cox, he had hurt his ribs. I can't remember. It was a player whose leg went into him. I forgot. I read about it. It was a collision. I don't remember who it was with. But, yeah, he's got some rib pain. He did get a limited participant today. Looks like he'll be playing. It all depends on his pain management, but I can't imagine he wouldn't because he is definitely one of the toughest players, probably one of the toughest Eagles of all time. I mean, if you look at his stat sheet, you see he's only missed a few games in his career.
Yeah.
He's a tough guy. He's a tough son of a gun. He doesn't mess around with that.
And the only good thing about playing on Thursday is then you have the weekend to watch the games, and then 10 days to kind of go over your scheduling and who's going to do what. And let's mix this play and that play. And
you have a mini bye. You have a mini bye week.
It is kind of a mini bye. I just don't like that Thursday game after a Sunday game, a Sunday late game even.
Yes.
And then we had to fly. So when did they get home? Monday morning at 4 a.m. or something.
I'm not too familiar back east, but New England to Philly, what's that?
2 hours. But the game, you got to get ready. You got to take an 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock flight.
Sure.
I mean, I didn't get home till 7 o'clock, so
I know.
7:30.
I know. I was stuck. You were the one driving me. I was stuck at the bar.
So that's like 9:30, for their time.
Yeah.
So by the time they get back into their houses, it's after midnight, 1 in the morning.
And then I got to watch the game. No, I'm just kidding. Moving on to the next guy, Ed Reed Blankenship. He was shown as a did not participate. A little bit of a worrisome thing. Same thing as Cox from above, though. It's his ribs. I think he's going to play. Another guy who's such a tough dude. I think he'll go through it. I think he'll fight through it. Again, a lot of this not participation and limited participation. Some of it could be severe, and some of it could be, hey, we're just going to take you out. I know you're okay because you went back into the game, but you took a cleat to the stomach. We got to give you.
We saw that play, and that was fairly early in the game too. So
I would assume second quarter. I don't know for sure, but it was around that time.
2 hours is any different. But you know what I'm saying. He was back and played the rest of the game.
Absolutely.
So,
True. Yeah, I think he'll be all right. Same thing as the guy below, Kenny Gainwell. He's also showing as his ribs are hurt. I think he's also going to be playing. There is more question to him playing than with Cox and Reed, but I imagine he will play. Probably will get some limited snaps, and this way we can see some more DeAndre Swift, maybe even see some more Boston Scott or even Rashad Penny if they pull him up. We'll see, but I have a feeling Kenny's going to be playing probably.
So, yesterday the last season 2 or the episode 2 podcast, we talked about plays of the game. Did you see that catch last night by the Jets receiver?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's too bad. We do the top 5 plays of the week, and I was telling Ben I was watching it with my bud Ben, and and that happens, and I'm like, oh man. And then same thing with the punt return to walk it off.
Yes, well yes.
We just missed the 2 best plays of the week.
But that catch was I still can't believe he caught just the way he was falling and when he threw it, I'm like, what are you doing? He was so tightly covered.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Surprising, very surprising.
I mean, at that point, I was pulling hard for the Jets. So.
Of course, yeah. Well, Jets won at 22-16 in overtime. We were cheering for overtime, and then that punt return, he cut the left way, and I was like, oh my God, he's going to walk it off.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, maybe not. There's some guys, and he knew how to do it. He had some great blockers, but punter
didn't make much of an effort.
Not at all, man. That was hard. Yeah, in the group chat with my fantasy buds, they were all ripping him. Ripping him. I know he tried to push him. Yeah, he's like an offensive lineman. You're supposed to tackle him, not block him.
This way, at least.
Yeah,
it was bad.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump on to our other segment, the one that we started the first week. We're going to be doing this probably every week for the preview games. We're going to be doing our All-Pro Legend. This week it is my turn to choose a player. You didn't see my computer, did it?
No, I did not.
Good, okay.
I'm looking at your notes, but not your.
Good. I'm going to go ahead and tell you when my player was drafted, some stats. I'll tell you his career stats and his stats with the Eagles, and then I'll let you do that rating and what you think, and maybe I'll let you guess who you think it is. This was a player who was drafted in 1998, round 3, pick 72. He was drafted by the Eagles. He played for us 3 different times. He had 3 different stints. He was a 1-time first-team All-Pro, 1-time second-team All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler. He is in the Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Fame. For the Eagles, in his career with the Eagles, he played 116 games, had 95 starts. He had 7 interceptions for 2 touchdowns, 2 pick six. He also had, let me see here, there we go, 696 total tackles with us. 59 of them were a tackle for loss, and total with us, he had 11 sacks. And his other team that he was with, or actually he was with 2 other teams, in his career, I'll go to his career. He had 147 total games he played, 9 total interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries, 9 forced fumbles, 12 and a half sacks total, and a total of 914 combined tackles.
Man, that's good.
Yeah. So, what do you have? Who do you think it is?
Maybe one of the DBs we drafted, Lewis, or I can't think of his name. Back in the early Andy Reid days.
Okay.
Michael Lewis and his other guy that played next to him. They were drafted, I think, in the same draft.
I think you're thinking Lito Shepard and Sean Brown.
Shepard, yeah. That's what I'm
a DB. It is, you want me to tell you?
Yes.
It is a linebacker.
Oh, wow.
It is my boy Jeremiah Trotter.
Oh, I love Trotter.
Who played in, I believe, 12 total seasons in the league.
Yeah, he went to Washington
with us. Yeah, he played on Washington. He had a weird career with moving around because we drafted him. He played for us for, looks like 4 years. He went to Washington for 2. He came back for 3. He went to Tampa Bay for 1, and he came back for 1. I'm assuming when he came back in 2009, it was more so of a, it was more so of like a
consulting.
More of a small,
I remember that 2009, but I definitely remember when he left because I was not very happy when he came back. He was great when he came back for us.
Yeah.
I don't know if he made the Pro Bowl there, but he definitely had some good years in Washington. Great years with us early.
He did have all of his Pro Bowls were with us, 2000, 2001, and then he left. He came back in a Pro Bowl in 2004 and 2005. Yeah. His first team All-Pro was in 2000, and his second team All-Pro was 2001. So he was really good early on. I mean, he was drafted in 98. He didn't play much then. And then in 99, he kind of broke out. And then in 2000 and 2001, he became kind of a big stud around the league, known for his hard hitting, known for that run stopping. I mean, that defense of the Eagles back Oh, big time.
So yeah, he's definitely an all pro in my opinion.
Yeah.
Possibly not really a legend.
It's hard.
I mean, a legend status to me is a guy that's a 8 or 9 or 10 year guy.
Yeah.
And a legend you don't let go to another team. I mean, it was a weird thing that they let him go at the time they did.
That is strange. To have him only for 4 years on his rookie contract, it is very surprising. I mean, especially, I know there's no fifth-year option because he is a third-round pick.
Yeah.
What a gem in the third round.
Well, about that fifth-year option stuff, that's new. They didn't have it back in those days. Yeah. It's totally different now the way they do it. Back in those days, you were lucky to sign for 3 years. And you didn't get him for 4. Like, it wasn't a give me.
Yeah.
But that's also where you had quarterbacks signing rookie year deals that were making more than guys that were all pro for 10 years. It was just they had to change it. So,
Anyway. But, so Jeremiah Trotter, I do agree with you. I'd go all pro.
Definitely.
If he had that Super Bowl, definitely be a legend, but definitely not a pro. He's definitely all pro.
So now he was there for us on our first NFC Championship game, maybe our second.
He would have been there, 2000 and 2001.
But he wasn't there for the Super Bowl then.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was. He was not. So he was there for the 2001. We didn't go to the NFC Championship. 2000. So 2001, he was gone for 2 and 3. He came back for 4.
Okay.
So he was here for 2 NFC Championship games and the Super Bowl. And actually, when did we go to the NFC Championship again? 2008. Okay, sorry, never mind. I'm looking at a different year.
We went 4 in a row.
Correct. Yeah,
and we won the 4th one.
Yeah, 2001 to 2004.
Should have won that first one against the Rams.
Yeah, I know.
We were close.
Yeah, I know.
But Warner was too great, and they had all those great guys.
Yeah, I mean,
Hall of Fame.
Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt.
Yes,
all of them.
And Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner,
We were hanging tough with them, man, and it was like we were playing with the house money that year.
Yeah,
we were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we made it this far.
Yeah, they also had the wide receiver who I really like. What's his name? The slot receiver who played for the Rams back then.
Yeah, the smaller guy ended up going to Tampa Bay, I think.
I can't remember his name. I got to get it.
Yeah,
I can't remember. While I'm trying to find that out, what you got it now?
No.
His son played in the our XFL, I think. He got the first touchdown of the revamped XFL. I can't remember his name, though. I'll try to find it while we're talking about. We're going to go ahead and jump over to our Phillies watch. Phillies played last night. They played a doubleheader last night. Lost the first one to the Braves in overtime, I think you said. Or not overtime, sorry, extra innings.
Yes.
Went to 10, yep. So they lost to the Braves, unfortunately, but they did get a win. Second game, they got a win against the Braves. Brought them to 79 and 65. They are playing right now. They're in the top of the 6th, but they're losing 6-1. So looks like they're going to be dropping to 79 and 66. But yesterday, as far as that, we'll talk about the good of yesterday. Turner and Harper both had homers, which is great to see. I mean, Turner, he's been on a tear.
Epic tear.
I mean, I was talking with Ben last night about just since the standing ovation, which I believe was August 4th, he's had 15 home runs, and including last night's 15 home runs. 39 RBIs. Don't quote me on that. I might be wrong there. I can't remember exactly, but he's been on a tear.
Yeah.
He's been on a real tear.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been awesome to see. Alec Boehm also had 3 RBIs in the first game last night. Too bad we couldn't win, but I'm a big Alec Boehm fan, so I do like to see him. Do well. Here he is, Ricky Prohl.
Right.
I love that guy. He's got some great plays in the league in history.
Yes.
That are unfortunately very sad. Like he has a touchdown. He had the touchdown at the end of that game, but then they drove down and kicked the field goal.
Right.
Like he had the touchdown to go ahead.
Would have been the game winner.
I think he did the exact same thing against Tom Brady in the next Super Bowl when he was on the Panthers.
Yes.
2 years later when he was on the Panthers. He had a touchdown to go up, and then they
could have had 2 Super Bowl winning touchdowns. The Hall of Fame.
I know, it's true. It really does turn things around. It's kind of funny.
And he was great.
Yeah, that's great. That is so crazy. Yep. So as far as the Phillies, keep on keeping on. They got to play the Braves again tomorrow. I don't like 4-game series because getting 2 is nice when you win. You got to get 3 to win it. That's not a big
last series with them until the playoffs. So
yeah. But other than that, do you have anything else to touch on for the Eagles or for anything else?
Just what I'm looking for this kind of game coming up. I'm hoping the Eagles can move the ball. I mean,
absolutely.
It was just even if we're not scoring TDs, I mean, move the ball. And now we did have 4 field goals, so I mean, it wasn't like we didn't move the ball at all. But I'm looking for that. I'm looking for, and I know this is the coach now, throwing a couple to Goddard kind of early in the game.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't want to see him jumping up and down all mad because he's wide open on a play that they don't throw the ball to, and I'm sure you saw that.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully get Swift out there and use him a little bit, and let's mix it up, man. Let's get that ball going. And I'd like to see him keep throwing the ball to Watkins. Air it out.
Yeah, I know. True.
It was good to see. He had a lot of things said this past offseason about him, and get him going too. Let's move that ball.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm looking for.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, hopefully they move the ball all over them, running and passing. And I want to see these guys go down into a hole pretty early. I want to see us go up quick. I don't want to give my friend Juice any chance to talk smack to me. So shout out to Juice, go Birds, bud. And but other than that, we'll go ahead and say our goodbyes. We'd love for you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. You can comment questions below. Email us at oureaglestherapy@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your questions and topics, whatever you want us to talk about. We'd love to do that for you.
And
if you have any ideas or anything like that.
And we're working hard to get these episodes out. I mean, especially now that we've got the game and then the recap and this game and the recap and then next week's game.
Hard on the short week. I slept about 4 hours last night.
So help us out. Hit the like button. Do that subscribe thing, and hopefully catch our yesterday's episode, and then now catch the preview episode, which is this one here, and. That's all I got.
For sure. All right. Well, until next time, from us here at Our Eagles Therapy Podcast, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
And fly, Eagles, fly.